My name is Brad Ost. I am the Theology and Philosophy Librarian here at Robert W. Woodruff Library. I am AUC, Atlanta University Center. I am your librarian, and I want to say that before we get into this segment, which is going to deal with the library homepage and with the Libguide that I've created for you, the library guide that I've created for you, that your greatest resource, really, if you're having any issues or any struggles or want some better clarification on anything, is me. I am available at 404-978-2068. Once again, 404-978-2068, or bost@auctr.edu. I'm very good at returning correspondence or calls within 24-hour business day, but usually it's like within 4 hours I return your call. So please, if there is anything you don't understand about this, or any questions that you have, or as you're going through your studies, if you have questions, please reach out, and I'd be happy to help you. We are going to be talking a little bit about the library homepage, which is located at www.auctr.edu. And then we're going to be talking about the Biblical Studies Libguide and one other Libguide that I've provided for you as well. This is the library homepage, and you won't necessarily need it all the time, or you may not need it very often, but there are times that you are going to be able to use it. Under the tab marked Your Research, the very top item is the library catalog. Sorry about that, I tripped over my own cord. This is going to look very much just like any library catalog that you've used, your public library. It's going to be the same thing. So we have the search box in BASIC, you have the search box. You're either searching on a keyword or on a title or a subject keyword. So let's say that we're looking for God here. We're looking for something on God. And we just put under that we are looking for the subject of God. Anything you have under the subject of God. And so the result list comes up, and here you have it. You have 1,197 results. And this is going to tell you all the information you need. This is the title, this is the author, when it was written, this is where it is actually located in the library, and then this tells you whether it's available. So if you're coming here or visiting or looking through the library catalog, you're going to be able to find what you need here. So if we go back, and you can do that by hitting the arrow up on the top, and once again, we're going to get out of here. Actually, we're going to go back to the home page. We have e-resources, which we've looked at under another segment. This is our listing of about 210 electronic databases that we have. Now let me tell you here, you need to talk to you probably already have been provided with a remote access username and password for the library. This doesn't have anything to do with ITC, it has to do with the library, getting into electronic resources. You'll also probably have been provided with a barcode number as well, which will help you with interlibrary loan if you need to get an interlibrary loan. I'm going to adjust this right here for a second. If you need an interlibrary loan for a journal, let's say. So this is the listing of the databases that we have. We've already had a segment that you can see online about the ATLA, the American Theological Library Association database. So let's go back once again to the home page. We can get there by clicking on this little house icon up in the right-hand corner. You have also here e-resources, that's where we just were, and then course reserves. Now many of you are going to be in courses that the professor has put something online for you, electronically for you, so that you can read it right offline. You don't have to come to the library at all. If you click on course reserves, this is going to bring you to that site. Click here, then you're going to come to an interface that will allow you to search for that particular article. Now, you can put in the instructor name, but there's both good and bad in that. There's one professor at ITC who has just 5 items on reserve, so putting his name in will get you those 5 very easily, and they're all ranked alphabetically. There's another professor that has over 1,400 items online. So if you're going through alphabetically there, you can see how you have much more of a struggle. So it's always better to search for the name of the course. So let's say we're going to use an example, Dr. Ellingson, who teaches Church History 1, and the number of his course is 641. So we are going to look here under this list of classes. We're going to look for 641, Church History 1. And there it is, 641, Church History 1, and we're going to go ahead and search. It's going to bring you to a page that lists all the items that he has available. So it says, for Church History 1, he has 170 results, or 170 things listed alphabetically. Now most of them, Dr. Ellingson has put many of them on Online Reserve, and it will tell you right underneath the title where it is located. So this is Online eReserve document. If it says that if it is a paper document here at the library, and for you distance learning students, obviously you wouldn't have one of those, but it would be behind the circulation desk as you enter on your left. But how is it that you access this Online eReserve document? Well, you would go ahead and click on the title, and if you're a distance student at this time, you're going to get one more screen. Unfortunately, you have to have 2 clicks. You go down to this gray area. Once again, it tells you to click here for an eReserve document. So go ahead and click on this. And right here is when you come to that proxy page. This is where you're going to have to use your remote access username and password. So right here, let me scroll up so that you can see it better. Right here, it's going to ask you, what school are you from? What school do you go to? What is your username and what is your password? So I'm going to fill that out for myself. You can see as I drop down that ITC is there, but I'm at Woodruff. So I put in my username and my password, if I can remember it. And here we go. There it is. It will always pop up as a PDF, and once you are there, you're able to do whatever you normally do with a PDF. You can print it out, you can save it to a flash drive, you can email it to yourself, whatever you want. But this is the way that you're going to access those documents on eReserve for you for that particular course that you're taking. All right, let's go back to the home page. And we do that once again by clicking on that little house arrow, house icon in the upper right-hand corner. We get back to the home page. I'm going to show you just one other area that's very important. Under Use the Library, the second item down is Technology. We're going to go ahead and click on that link. Now, all of you have created or have a remote access username and password, and that is created right up there. But it may come to a point where you forget your username and password. And so here's this paragraph heading, Send a Password. This is actually a link here. And I want you to go ahead and click on that link. And what's going to pop up is a box that is asking for your ITC email, because the only way that your password is linked here in the computers at the library is by linking it to your ITC email address. So if you put your ITC email address here and click Submit, it will either say one of 2 things. We can't find your password, which means you didn't have one to begin with, or it was lost or something, I don't know. But normally what happens if you have one and click Submit, it'll say it has been sent to your email. And instantly it will appear in your email, and you will be able to see what your username and password is that you forgot. So there's where you go in case you forget your password. Let's get rid of that. Let's go back to the home page once again. And we are finally now going to the Libguide. Here's what a Libguide is. It is a piece of software that allows the librarians, the subject librarians here at the Robert W. Woodruff Library, to create websites attuned to everybody's discipline, to every academic discipline that is represented in the AUC community. We have it here represented in a Libguide. So if you're right here under your research, if you click on Libguides, you're going to come to the listing of all those guides. So let's go ahead and click on that. You can see here on this listing that we have all sorts of them. I think we have 150 to 200 of them. These are just subject categories. And many of them have more than one Libguide under them. Here's a very important one, Citation and Style Guides. That has MLA, APA, AMA, Turabian, all sorts of links and helps to help you with citing in those different styles. But up here, Biblical and Religious Studies, that subject guide here, that subject holder, holds the ones that I've created for ITC. And I'm going to go ahead and open that up now. Click on Religious and Biblical and Religious Studies. And these are the LibGuides that I've created specifically for you. I've got one called Biblical Studies. Here's one called Eastern Religions. Here's Islamic studies, here's psychology of religion, and then here's one called exegetical papers. We're going to see that later, but we're going to look at, by and large, biblical studies. So go ahead and click on that link that says biblical studies, and here it is. Here's the home page. Now, one thing I want to let you know, you do not need your remote access username and password to get to this site. In fact, you don't need that for any of the Libguides. They all have the same address except for one difference. Their address is always http://research.auctr.edu/. So that's always the same for every single Libguide. It's the name at the end that is always different. And for here, it's all one word, Biblical Studies, BIBLICALSTUDIES. So it is http://research.auctr.edu/biblical studies. Now, if you bring that up and make it one of your favorites, and I'm not suggesting that you have to do this, but you could really never have to go to the library homepage. You could just stay here to do all the research you need to do. All right, so we are on the homepage right now. It's just got my face. Thank goodness it's covered up, and we've just got some stuff here. But the very first tab says ATLA Article Search. Remember, one of the other segments that we've done that you can view talks about searching the American Theological Library Association database, and that you can find most of your needs, most of your journal article needs there on that database. Well, you know what? Remember, if you saw that segment, that we actually went to the library homepage, clicked on e-resources, got to the list, went down to ATLA, went up to the database. Well, right here, off of this Biblical Studies Libguide, I have the search function right here. So this isn't a link to that database, this is actually the search. So if I put God in here, and click on search, you will then come up right here with that listing, that page that shows you how many articles ATLA has that deal with God, 88,000 of them. So here it is, and if you look at the other segment, you can then begin to narrow your search down on the left-hand side and find exactly what you need. But you can see that it's very convenient right there in your Biblical Studies Libguide. It's available for you. So let's get out of this and go back to the Libguide. Well, maybe I lost it here. Here we are. But I don't just have the ATLA article search. I also have the religion and philosophy article search. I also have the Philosopher's Index article search. But here it is. The important thing is, under this one Biblical Studies Libguide, you have it all. The second tab over, ATLA video tutorials. If you have missed that other segment, right here I've got about 5 videos. They're only 3 to 5 minutes long, that show you how to search through the ATLA database. So it could be midnight. I'm not going to give you my cell number, so you're not going to be able to get a hold of me. But you can go ahead and go to any one of these videos and find how to do a search in the ATLA database. We're going to skip over the next tab, which says exegetical papers, and we're going to click on Turabian citation style. And what I've done here is, when I teach this class here in the library, we have all this information for them. So I've got the PowerPoint that I use, 30, 35 slides, Turabian style citation, which is a PowerPoint document. It is there, online for you. It has the most common elements that you're going to need doing citations for your papers. A book, online journal, a weblog, those kind of things. I have examples of them. I show you how to do capitalization, long and short notes, how to abbreviate the states. I've got examples of all this. It's all available right here. You don't need anything, no password, anything. You just click on it, open it, print it, whatever you want to do. I've got here also example page for notes and bibliography. So that's the style you're going to use at ITC. That example page shows you exactly how a notes page should look and how a bibliography page should look. So you've got everything you need to do your paper. I've also got how to turn off auto format function in Word 2010 and 2007. I've got that there because it's often very difficult to create endnotes in Microsoft Word when it's got its auto format on. It wants to make everything a footnote. And you definitely want to make sure you just have endnotes, unless your professor has specified that he wants footnotes. All right, that's the Turabian citation style. The next, we're going to skip using Libronics because that's a piece of software that's only here at the library. Finding resources here. Here we have all the elements that you need for finding what you need online or here at the library. This is the Smart Search for the Robert W. Woodruff catalog. So if you're looking for a book here, you just put in your subject idea or your terms and you click on Smart Search. It's going to bring up everything that we have available dealing with that particular subject. Then WorldCat. This is a very interesting search engine here. WorldCat, I think, has about 77,000 libraries who have contributed their links to their catalogs in it. And it will tell you, first of all, you put in, let's say you're searching for a book on God, and the first book that comes up is exactly what you want. When you click on it, it will tell you what libraries have that book in your state and the 5 states surrounding you. So if you are not here and you can't get the book, you can go to your local library. It may have it, and you'll find out whether it has that book through WorldCat. If you want to expand it, you can hit expand, and it will give you everywhere in the world where that book is available. Electronic books. We have over 65,000 books online that you can view online or download for a period of time onto your computer. This will allow you, this link right here will allow you to search just the online network. And I did a sort of a down and dirty search just on God or Christianity or something. I think I came back with 3,000 items. So there are a lot of items dealing with religion and theology, doctrine in that library. Underneath that, I have Google Scholar. I know that often we hear that Google is the awful thing. You're not supposed to search Google, but it can be very useful for you. Google Scholar can, because it's just searching academic sources. So that is also a place that you can search on, and just by using that search box, it will route you through Google Scholar. So these are ways of finding resources, and finally here, ways that you can get in touch with us as well. Web resources. On the next tier, the first item on the next tier, web resources, these are just, because this page is so long, these are just links to what's coming down on the page. Now, your professor will often tell you not to use the web for what you're doing. Well, I understand that, and they understand that too. They understand what I'm doing. There are a lot of just great resources here, academic resources, that are going to be very helpful to you in whatever you're doing. So let's scroll down a little bit here, just to get an overview of what we're looking at here. Greek, Hebrew, and Latin resources. It used to be, when I went to seminary, you had to buy just a boatload of books to do all the Hebrew and Greek lexical work. You had to thumb through every index and every page, find out exactly where you were. Now, all of that is online. Interlinear Bible, Latin Vulgate, the Vulgate translation, the Septuagint, the online Greek Bible, the Little Scott James Greek English lexicon, Hebrew lexicon, everything that you need to do your lexical work is available for you online, and these links will lead you there. You can see how many there are. Statistics and research organizations. There is nothing harder than finding statistics that deal with religious intersection with culture. So I have put up here those sources that do the best job of relating religion to sociology, psychology, education, what's going on in the world around it. The association, the biggest one is the Association of Religion Data Archives. Go there. Pew Research Forum, the Hartford Institute. They don't do a ton of stuff, but the stuff that they do look into, they investigate, they have a wealth of material. So it might line up with what you're doing. The American Religious Identification Survey of 2008, the very largest survey ever done in the United States, dealing with why people belong to certain denominations and how many belong to where they belong. It's a great. Adherence, another website dealing with denominations and how many people belong to different denominations around the world. We have biblical resources here, the non-canonical literature, the pseudepigrapha, all sorts of material. And then down here, primary sources. This used to be that you had to buy, just remember the Nicene and the Ante-Nicene fathers, all of those old church fathers, ancient church fathers, volumes and volumes of books that you had to buy. It's all online now. All of it is available online. Early church texts, ancient Mediterranean inscriptions, Calvin's Institutes are all online. Christian Classics, Ethereal Library, everything is available to you online. I have sites dealing with the Qumran. I have the Dead Sea Scrolls and the Qumran community. I have sites dealing with myth, with Judaism, with Christianity, with African American religion as well, spiritual songs, whatever you need. And I keep adding to these particular pages. So those are web resources that are available to you as well. Then here I have recent acquisitions. I'm not going to open them up. It's just what it says. Recent and important acquisitions, books, and then CDs and DVDs. These are just new material that we get in the library all the time. You may want to look at them just to see what's new out there, what's being written out there. If we go across these tabs, the middle section, and click on Religious News, what I've done here is I've created 5 or 6 RSS feeds. Those real simple syndication. That means you're linking to a Libguide, you're linking to some source, and they're automatically updating their material for you as often as they do. Most of these update at least once a week. So I've got sources, I've got news from the Pew Forum. I've got news from the NPR Religion Podcast, PBS Religion and Ethics News Weekly, American Public Media On Being, At the News, Worldwide Religious News, Islamic News. So if you're looking at finding what's happening in the religious world today, that's available as well. And down here we have another International Society for Science and Religion library. We've got about 250 sources dealing with religion, the intersection of science and religion and philosophy. And then quick links and databases. These are just places that you can look to for the database, that listing of databases that we have that I've already listed for you. ATLA, Religion and Philosophy Collection, Old Testament Abstract, New Testament Abstract, ProQuest Religion, and JSTOR. All of them have religious themed articles with them. So this is the database here. This is the Libguide here that is a real resource for you. You should make it one of your favorites so that everything you need, you can just have an opportunity to come here. Now, I skipped just one tab, and that was the exegetical papers. And that's the tab on the top. Let's go back to that. It's the 4th one over from the left. I'm going to click on exegetical papers, and here's why I did this. I went back to seminary in my mid-40s. In the very first class I went to, I was asked to create an exegetical paper. And I'd been out of college for a long, long time, forgot what an exegetical paper was, and I thought to myself, boy, I can't ask the professor what this is because he's going to kick me out of seminary if he thinks I don't know what an exegetical paper is. So I went to the librarian and I asked him, and he told me. I have gotten many students from ITC coming to me over the years and asking me, what's an exegetical paper? All right, so I got enough of them, so I created a Libguide. If you click right here, this is a link to the Exegetical Papers Libguide. Go ahead and click on that. And what I've done is I've sort of taken you through a step-by-step process on how to write an exegetical paper, how to choose a passage, what to look for in the historical, cultural, and literary background, how to perform exegesis on every verse, offer an overall interpretation. And what I do with each section, and let's just pick number 2, historical, cultural, and literary background. And what I do is I write several paragraphs. So here I've got a paragraph on the different critical schools that there are: narrative criticism, feminist criticism, social scientific criticism, common topics for the critical schools. And then as you scroll down, I examine the historical, cultural, and literary background of the paper. We go ahead and look at it, what's the cultural background, and I'm using a passage from Luke all the way through here. So we're dealing with one passage all the way through. And then what I've added are sources here from the library or online that can help you with whatever you need for that particular topic. And that I work all the way through here. And then near the bottom, I have, on the bottom tab on the left, I have example papers. One of our professors was good enough, she is now at another seminary, but she was good enough to give us several sample papers of papers she considered to be A material for exegetical papers. So we have those 2 example papers, then the nuts and bolts of writing an exegetical paper, and then another PDF writing the exegesis paper. So almost everything that you need for trying to determine or walk through how to create an exegetical paper is available for you on this Libguide. And the address for that, remember that first part is the same, http://research.auctr.edu/ and then all one word, exegetical papers, all one word. So here we are. This is the Biblical Studies LibGuide. You don't need a remote access username and password. And the Exegetical Papers LibGuide as well. Remember that your greatest resource are not these, but myself. Not because I'm really great shakes, but because I'm available to you, and I've done this for a while. So I'm available at 404-978-2068 or bost@auctr.edu. Thank you very much.